When is the last time you've seen this scooter on the channel? I can't even remember the last thing we fully did on this. I think it was something simple like just putting a shock on it or something. I actually ended up pulling it out yesterday because I had plans to film this video today, so I pulled it out, cleaned her all up, threw some air in the tires because it was sitting on complete flats, and I started it up. This thing probably hasn't been started in over a year, and the gas in it was so bad. This thing was running so crazy, so I'm going to take a little bit of time here in the beginning of this video to kind of just make sure this thing's running okay before we get started. But basically today we have a prototype pipe to be trying out on this Stroker Elite. As of right now, I have a Tida pipe on, and it's also meant for Stroker. Obviously, huge diameter on this pipe. Not only are we just going to be trying out this new pipe today, we are going to do something that I've really been wanting to do, and I think it's going to help us a lot from now on, tuning and messing with these parts, and that is a draggy. If you aren't familiar with these are basically a GPS device that connects to your phone, an application on your phone. You will set this either in your car. I might have to figure out a situation on here, maybe just setting it in somewhere, maybe just in my seat or something. But this will basically connect with our phone. It will show us our drag times, our miles per hour, our 0 to 60s, everything we need to see. So this should help and really show us some cool details. So we're gonna obviously try it first with this pipe, and then we'll be trying it with the new pipe. But let me make sure this thing runs and everything. Look how long the travel is in this throttle. I need a quick throttle on this scooter more than anything. And it still goes further than that, obviously. It's barely even engaging. This thing sounds like it's running super rich or it has a foul plug or something, so. Well, just like that, before we can go out testing it and tuning it for this bike, I want to get it set up somewhat right with the base plan. So I changed the needle clip in it, put a fresh plug in it. This Stroker, dude, it's been a while, but we got the draggy set up, hopefully. Oh my god, bro. I need to tighten the rear brake bad. Wow. The throttle on this thing's so long, I almost have to hold it like where it's open, then readjust my hand. Dude, this thing's a little sketchy. It's running so rich off the bottom end too. Oh my god. Dude. Dude, it just picks the front end up. It's so rich on the bottom end. This thing is crazy. We gotta tune this thing better before we really look. It brakes fully in, doesn't even engage on this thing. That's why it was so sketchy when I took off. I almost looped it, boys. Stroker needs a lot of tuning, I'm not gonna lie. We're not gonna get too accurate right here. And this phone mount said it was an anti-vibrating phone mount, and that was the biggest lie I've ever read on Amazon. I have it slid halfway out because if you can't tell, the mount is showing in the camera. So I was trying to slide it out, so I got rid of that. What's crazy to me is to think about how much I feel like I've learned since I was working on this scooter, because when I built this scooter, this was actually my first two-stroke scooter. And then I went straight for a Stroker build on it. And I never really went back and finalized on tuning this thing and getting it running properly because I kind of just dealt with what I had. But now seeing today, I see a lot of things where this bike needs improvements. I changed the needle clip to the very top setting just to see if I can clear up that bottom end, but that took away from a lot of the fuel that's getting to the top end, so. Changed the needle clip, adjusted the AF a little bit. Oh, we should probably turn it on. This thing seems way happier now. Oh, now it's running lean in the top end. Yeah, so it needs to be down jetted a lot, pilot up jetted in the top end for sure. It's not getting fuel in the top end now. Yeah, I don't wanna risk it. It's running lean top end now. So we had a 50 pilot. I'm gonna try with a 45. I'm gonna move the needle clip down again and see if we can't find a sweet spot for this thing. All right, so we had a 134 main. We got a 138 here, and we're popping it back in. Luckily, you know, these carbs have the access hole right there at the bottom, so very easy, quick swap. And upjet, hopefully this bike will be tuned to this setup right now. We'll get a good pull on it, and then we can, you know, mess with the new pipe. All right, we just put the biggest main jet I literally have in this thing, which is the 138. It had a 134. If this doesn't get it rich in the top end, the only option I really have is that needle clip. But that bottom end was just not happy. But we're probably gonna have to tune it again when we put on that pipe. So it's like, God, how much work do I want to put in on this right now to tune this thing if we're about to change the pipe, you know? But I would like to see the difference. It's doing 70 really easy, but it doesn't like that wide open throttle still. Yeah, it does not like wide open throttle. I have to get it to 70 miles per hour with going like a little bit more than like half throttle. I have to keep it at. The bad part is I don't have any bigger main jets. So, alright, so I got the stroker as best as I could for the meantime, but I want to get this pipe on. Here's the prototype pipe, and I was very excited to try this thing out. This thing had a bunch of pieces to it. It's an over the tire pipe, so it comes from around the bike, over the back tire, and then out the other side by the gearbox. But there was some bad news when I was trying this thing on. As you can see, I took everything off, pulled my pipe off, and well, we found a little bit of an issue. Alright, so it turned out that this exhaust is actually meant for a water-cooled setup, and I was trying to fit it on the bike. The way the pipe is, it won't go past the cooling shrouds or the air fan. You have to take the air fan off the actual flywheel, and you have to take the air shroud off. So it being a 120cc air-cooled scooter, it is not safe to try to run this thing with no air shrouds, let alone no fan. So that pipe was strictly meant for a water-cooled setup. Now this curve actually came like right across here and then down, so it literally cut through all that. Really unable to try this right now, so we're sending this back. Hopefully we'll be getting the air-cooled version that we can actually try out. But in the meantime, we can still tune the stroker to the setup I have on it, because like I said, this thing has never been tuned right. So I ordered some jets because we needed a bigger main jet. We went with a 138, which was the biggest size I had last time. So I ordered a 140 through a 158 kit. And I'm gonna go straight for the 142. 142, that's what we're going with. So we got, luckily these carbs are super easy, and you can just take out the bottom of the bolt that goes to the drain bolt itself. And I'm gonna do a few things for this scooter. So we're gonna refix a lot of this headset because I never got it fully fitted right, and I could do a lot better fitment. Also, I didn't hook up most of the buttons, and yeah, there's some wiring in there I wanna check out. I need to put a quick throttle on as well, because the travel in this throttle is insane, dude. Like, you can't even hold it right, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get a quick throttle on that bad boy as well. What we got here is a S23, the Scooter Swap Shop quick throttle over here. So this is something I put on a lot of my scooters That's gonna help us a lot. It's on like probably 50% of my scooters now. And then of course we got some grips too. So I'm gonna take this headset off and get to work on that. There's a few things I wanna do while this headset's off, and that's some plastic welding, because it looks like there's some cracks in this headset because I didn't have it seated totally properly, and possibly some wiring, trying to figure out some wiring in there. So let's go ahead, pull this thing off, and get this throttle swapped in. Started the nightmare of pulling this headset off. This headset, being a conversion on the Honda Elite bars, is sometimes a pain in the ass to get fitted right. And under the front panel, I discovered a lot of the wiring, which now, going back years later, I realized that I really wanted to clean up. There's a difference in some of the plugs, and it was just bothering me how it was laid in there. So I went through and I cleaned up the wiring a lot on this thing, and then I went and installed the quick throttle. There was a lot of fitment problems with the headset installing the quick throttle, so we had to do a lot of modification on that. Alright boys, quick throttle's installed. We got the new grips on there, and we upjetted it. I didn't really film it because I focused a lot on rewiring a lot of this, and it was really tedious. So I did that, and it was kind of a struggle to mount this quick throttle within this Dio headset, so it doesn't fit perfect. It actually cracked my headset a bit. As you can see, I got a chunk missing right here now. So it's alright, it's a race bike. It's not a pretty bike. It's supposed to be fast, right? The quick throttle's so much better though. Headlights working now. We're Gucci, boys. Only thing I couldn't get working was the fuel gauge. Oh boys, we might have tuned it right. Holy shit, I think we got it right, boys. Dude, this brake is so bad. We need to figure out this brake ASAP though. We got the temp gauges mounted down here too. I used to have them on the bars. We rewired it, put a little eyelet right there. Looks good. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was definitely running lean in the top end, because there it is. Holy shit. My eyes are watering so bad right now. I should have put the draggy on. I might be able to adjust the needle even more now. Get that throttle response a little snappier, but... Oh my god. Front wheel just floats. Top speed right here. But we're definitely hitting 70, I feel like. But like, I feel like we can go way more than that. We need a less of a trafficked road, boys. Yeah, it sounds like the bottom end jetting now can be a little leaner. Still in the bottom end rich. It was lean in the top end. We had this thing like ass backwards. We got a lot of tuning done on the Stroker Elite at least, but we still have more to do. This is the best the bike has ever ridden, but as I changed it a little bit, I just noticed when the clutch got really hot. As you can tell in the last draggy clip, when I took off, the clutch slipped for so long, then finally engaged, and that's what we got to figure out next. So once it was hot and a couple pulls on it is when that started happening. So it could be a really soft contra, it could be the clutch itself. So we got some more tuning to do with it, but carb-wise, I feel like it's really happy. A bit sad we didn't get to try out that prototype pipe because it turned out to be for a water-cooled, so we wouldn't even be able to run anything for the cooling fan. So it just wasn't gonna work. Let me know what pipe you think we should try next. I kind of like this Tita pipe, but I'm sure there's probably better options out there. So we got the gauges all nice and clean and wired in here, and they all go into this rubber eyelet that I put in. So everything's looking good. The headset's fitting better. Oh, my screwdriver. Headset's fitting better than it ever has. Finally, a better throttle for this thing. But we need to figure out the rear brake and the CVT. So we did a lot in the front of the scooter. Now we need to do a lot in the rear next time. But stoked to bring the 120cc back on the channel. This thing looks really good. I need to put the side skirts on, but I love the way this thing is. That's gonna do it for this one though. Let me know what you think we should put the draggy on next and do some 0 to 60s on. The stroker obviously still needs a little bit of tuning like I said, but maybe we should put it on one of the pre-bugs and see what those are like. Those have a really, I set my pre-bugs up where they're really quick on the bottom end for wheelies, so that'd be kind of interesting to see how that one's set up. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.